Well, hi Jose, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So you came in today to speak with me. I assume you have something to talk about. But before we do that, I just want to let you know once again that whatever you say in here is completely confidential. It's between you and me. And the only exception really would be if you were to divulge something that was in danger of being a harm to you or someone else, because my number one goal is to keep you safe and just have your best interests at heart, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So what brings you in today?
Well, today is just kind of a work kind of an issue. I recently started working at this new position the beginning of this month, so November 1st. That was my first day. And I have found it a little difficult to work with my one and only coworker that is in that position as well.
Okay, difficult.
Yes, and it's just we're very different when it comes to personality wise, and we're also very different. I have come to realize when it comes to our working, how the way that we work, and that has made it really difficult for me because I've got to know this person on a personal level before starting to work with them,
Yeah.
and I know what makes him tick, and I know kind of his insecurities and kind of like personal things. So
what makes it tick, you mean?
as in like his issues, like personal issues, and kind of the way that he is, and what he doesn't like, and what he what he likes as a person. And knowing this and now working with him on the kind of an working environment, I find myself kind of holding myself back when it comes to work related things, because I know that he's a certain way, and I know that he's going through things, and one of the things is that he mentioned in the past is that he needs to feel needed or wanted, and I feel like me taking over certain things or doing certain things during work, I found myself kind of staying away from that and kind of letting him take the lead and kind of on everything, and kind of keeping my opinion to myself, because he is also a little bit very controlling when it comes to that. And I have several instances that have really kind of bothered me, and I've decided not to say anything because I don't want to hurt his feelings or kind of cause any conflict.
Yeah, okay. So it sounds like you're feeling a little distressed and maybe like in conflict a little bit, because on one hand you've been learning a lot about this new coworker of yours, and you learned the things that maybe you said make him tick, and you know those things. So on the other hand, you're trying to sort of cater to those, even though you may be feeling like you should say something or act a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to kind of go back and summarize a little bit, you started this new job, and you work really closely with this one person, right? Do I have that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, and so you guys are a little bit in conflict, or is it mostly like internal from you, do you think? Or do you guys have some kind of disagreements?
I feel like it's a little more internal than kind of between us, because I feel like he doesn't really see the issue because I'm the one backing away and not making it a big deal, but it affects me internally because I feel like I'm not able to do as much as I would want to, because I don't want to overstep the boundaries. There was an incident where he was moving around the office area, and there was just this little cubicle that it was turned around a certain way, and I was like, you should turn that over, like you're looking at the back, so it should be facing the other way. And he was like, no, I don't want to look at the other way. I don't want to look at it the other way. I was like, oh well, I don't want to look at that side because technically that's the back. And then he was like, well, who was here first? And then he was here first, and that kind of made me like, okay, that really made me upset, and I kind of stayed quiet for like the rest of the day, and I kind of went on into the office, and I didn't say anything, and it was that moment that I realized that I needed to kind of let him have his thing, and pretty much for me to just like do whatever, and then I decided to that anything that he said I would just agree to, because I didn't want to like deal with us having like arguments about little things. That was just a little thing, a little piece of furniture. Now imagine if we started arguing about actual work related things.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So you had this little disagreement with where it was going to turn, right?
Mhm.
Which angle, and his reaction, sort of enlightened you to maybe something that could potentially be a problem in terms of work.
Mhm.
He seems to have a little bit of maybe a possessiveness about the office because he was there first,
Mhm.
and that seems to be bothering you a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. So how have you been feeling since that day, when you've been kind of trying to stifle maybe some comments, just to not make him maybe a little angry?
I've just been trying to not like put out my opinion and just agree on everything he's saying, or if he has my opinion on something, I kind of put it back on him and being like, ask him for his opinion, and then I agree with that. It's kind of a thing. And recently I started to realize that I shouldn't be doing it all the time, because if I keep doing that, it's gonna bother me. It's not gonna bother him, because he doesn't see it that way. He just see it like we're actually in harmony and agreeing. And the thing is, he's not seeing the side where I'm agreeing because I don't want to, have that opposing opinion, and for it to turn into an argument. And that affects me internally, because I know that I wasn't saying the truth, and I actually didn't agree with what he was saying. I just didn't want to say that, because then it was just nothing will get done.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that if you continue to do this, you said it would bother you later.
Mhm.
Does that sort of imply that maybe it's not bothering you currently?
Because I guess within the last few days, I realized that I need to at least put a little bit of an effort when it comes to really working with him, because I feel like I kind of gave up to working with him. That incident of the little furniture thing, I kind of gave up on trying to work and find that middle ground between us. At that moment, I was like, I'm just gonna let him have everything, and I'll just kind of be his silent cheerleader or whatever. But within the last few days, I realized that I need to, in order for me to be okay with and not be miserable working in this new job, for me to at least kind of, take what I can and contribute as much as I can, whether it's by giving my opinion and kind of causing a little conflict between the two.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it sounds like you're sort of coming to this peak in your work with him, where you were with him before, and you noticed that when you kind of gave a little bit of an opposing opinion, he reacted in sort of a little bit of a possessive way, and so you stopped that. And you guys seem to be getting the work done, you mentioned, because if you wouldn't, you thought the work wouldn't get done. So you guys are getting the work done, and you're, that silent cheerleader for him, which is a good role sometimes. But now you're at the point where you're realizing, one, you need to do this for yourself so you're not miserable, as you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then two, perhaps it seems like you guys could reach a better form of working together where it's more collaborative. It sounds like maybe you're kind of realizing that there's more to reach with this job. Does that
Mm-hmm.
sound right?
Yeah, because because I guess it's a little new for myself to work with someone who's completely opposite for myself, because whenever I work with other people, we have some similarities, and we do work a little different when it comes to that, but because it's not much of a difference, I learned to kind of work around that, and I learned how to work with those people who work a little different. but with him, it's like a completely different, work ethic and just personality and everything. So this is kind of like a first for me. So I'm really trying to figure out how to work with this person, and it has taken a little bit longer because I feel like he's the first person I've encountered in a work related thing to work with, and that has taken a while. Even there was an incident, after the furniture incident, where we were planning on the band and he was trying to figure out what movie to show, or what movie we were going to show for the event, and then he kept asking me. He kept asking, "Oh, what do you think about this?" I was like, "Yeah, like it doesn't really sound interesting." And then I would mention, "How about this one?" He's like, "Yeah, I mean," like he didn't seem interested in that either. So we couldn't seem to agree on what movie we both liked to show.
Yeah.
So one of us would have to give in order for this thing to go. And then there was a point where I told him, I was like, "What about this?" I was like, there's two of us. We can focus. You can be the main person on this event, and you can pick movie, and then I'll help you plan the event. And I was like, and then for the next event, and I can be the next person, and like the main person, I'll pick the movie and I'll pick the main things, but then we can collaborate and make the event work as a whole. He's like, no, like we need to work as a team. We need to do everything together, and that bothered me because it's like we're still going to be a team. We're just one of us going to take a lead role. Because we both can't be lead roles in something. Because if we are both lead roles, we're so different that nothing's going to get done because we're never going to agree on anything. But he didn't like that idea. I was like, well, I guess I'll just go back to me not saying anything.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So you brought up. It sounds like you did bring up a pretty good alternative to this situation where you guys couldn't agree on something, right? You wanted to pick a movie and you couldn't agree. Which no one can agree on movies really, but he shot that one down too, right? And then, did you mention anything to him after that, or like how did the situation end? Did you guys figure out a movie together?
Yeah, I pretty much after that, he shot down my idea. Whenever he kept mentioning movies, I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good movie. Just kind of.
Okay.
Like, even though I didn't thought it was a good movie or anything, I would just agree with him and be like, yeah, whichever movie you picked, we can do that.
Yeah.
And then we ended up picking a movie, and the event is going on now, and like, things are happening and this and that, but it's still kind of like, there's just certain things that really irritate me, the way that he does things, and I want to say something and I want to be like, no, we should do it this way, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to be a pushover or kind of, I don't know, it's difficult.
Yeah, it sounds difficult, and you're getting these sources of irritation, and even a sense of stifling, because once he shoots you down, you tend to just stop giving your ideas because you know that he won't necessarily listen to them with as much credence as he should, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of affecting you, right?
Yeah.
So, what's your ultimate goal? How, like in a perfect scenario, how would you want you guys to work together as a team?
I mean, I would definitely like for us to work as a team, and for as much as me to learn how to work with him, for also him to realize that he also needs to learn how to work with me.
Right.
And
Right.
he's just really oblivious to the fact that I'm not being genuine to the opinions that I'm giving. And he just needs to figure out. And he asked me after, I think it was a movie incident, like I realized that this happened and this and that. I was like, is everything okay with you? But I wasn't ready, or haven't been ready for me to talk to him about it and be straightforward and be like, look, we're not working well together because we cannot agree on anything. And I feel like that's a conversation that needs to happen, but I feel like I'm not there yet to have the conversation with him, because it's an important thing for me to figure out how to work with him, as well as him to figure out how to work with me.
Yeah, no, that's a great realization. That conversation does sound like something that would benefit both you and him. And you said it yourself, right? It needs to happen. And you're not ready yet. But what, for the sake of exercise, maybe what kinds of things would you like to tell him? Make sure that he really knows.
Well, I would just like for him to know that, we're completely different people. We have different ideas, and that's okay. And that we are able to explore those ideas and plan different events, kind of be the lead role and figure out that things. But we can just because one person is taking the lead role doesn't mean that the other person is going to be completely alienated from the event. That person can still collaborate with the lead role person and create a great event. Both people don't have to do every single step together, because that's one of the things he wants to he wants to do everything together. Whenever people come into the office and he's out here and he meets them, he calls me over for me to introduce myself. It's I feel like it's, even if it's just students, it's I just want all the students to know both of us. It's yeah, but it's if I'm out there, then yeah, we'll introduce ourselves, but it's not going out of my way, or he's let's go and talk to this person that's in the room. It's why don't you go? Just kind of a thing. That's something I want him to know, that we don't have to be attached by the hip.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting because, you're saying that he wants to do everything together. That's his idea of team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of want to establish the sense of independence. And it seems like the reason that maybe you guys are conflicting a little bit more than ideal is because, one, he's not accepting of that idea of independence right now, and two, he wants to work together, but you guys aren't currently working together, even though you are maybe attached by the hip, as you said, because he's not listening to your ideas. And on the flip side, you're not telling him how you feel, and so he can't really know where you're coming from either.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem to be a little accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So, Jose, it sounds like you're in a good place in terms of knowing where you need to go. There's a little bit of maybe some stress and conflict happening in the workplace right now, but you seem to have reached a point where you know that you deserve better, and he deserves better. You guys need to reach a sense of cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what needs to happen. You said that you guys need to have a conversation, and I would encourage you guys to really come up with concrete ideas that both of you support to how you can work together in events and also in a daily work environment. And there's going to be some compromises there. And really for you, Jose, you need to make sure that you are standing up for compromises made on your behalf too. Okay? Does that sound like something you can do?
Yes.
Okay. And that's going to take whatever time is necessary for you. Whenever that time is where you're ready, that's when you take the opportunity, because you might not be ready. So, but I'm really happy that you came by, and I'm excited to hear, maybe you'll come back and let me know how it goes. Does this sound like a good place to stop a little bit?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Jose, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yay, it's over.
That was